melted an ice sheet in Canada, caused instantaneous flooding that completely fucked up the Earth's ecosystem. And so this is like, in geology, there's different theories about how rocks got to certain places.
Yeah.
And one of the theories that was kind of considered to be ridiculous for a while was that like some catastrophic event had happened.
He froze.
What happened?
Where did he go?
No.
He was just getting into it too. Man, this is about to start a really good conversation here.
Oh yeah, man. We absolutely. Oh, double trouble.
There's
trouble.
two
Okay,
of me. What the fuck?
Let's get this guy out of here.
Get that guy out of here. He's drunk.
He's drunk.
Get him out of here.
Fuck her out.
All right, man, go ahead.
So like, basically, like, the idea is that some catastrophe happened, and in all the world's mythologies, you have this flood, the story of the flood.
Yeah.
And so it's basically that. It's like the flood stories are about this like cosmic event that happened that disrupted an ancient civilization. So you go to these, and Graham Hancock his books are so great, man. But like, essentially, if you look at like some of the Neolithic structures around the planet, what's weird is you start seeing these similar things. And in the Midnight Gospel, it's like Clancy's got that little knapsack thing. I'll show you where we got that from, which is that, let me see if I can find it. Neolithic. All these like drawn all over the world, these beings have these weird little purses in their drawings. I'll show you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's so weird, man. And let me see if I can find it. You see these recurring patterns all over the planet, also in the petroglyphs. Those, like when they clear rainforest and stuff, and you see those weird, like what they call alien runways or whatever. Why are they the same all over the world? Like you see recurring shapes and patterns that seem to indicate that there was some commonality among the people who were putting them there. And so I'm going to find, here it is. So basically, mysterious handbag and ancient sculptures. Like if you Google that, like I'll show you. It's so funny because it really does just look like a Gucci purse or something. But hold on, I'll save it. But it's weird because it's everywhere. Okay, let me show you. So hold on one second, man. Check this out. I'll bring this up on my screen.
Whoa.
Okay. So look, check that out.
Wait a minute.
Oh yeah. What does that do? Have a purse?
Yeah, this like bird-headed thing's got this little purse, and like it's all over the place. And so, in the book of Genesis, they talk about the Nephilim, like there were giants in those days, and
right.
So the idea is that, and look at that weird. It's like the bird is wearing a watch. Like what's on his? It's like a wristwatch. But anyway, the idea is that there was some advanced civilization.
Right. This is in ancient Sumeria, correct?
Beings who had the knowledge of the past civilization went back out into the world. Like, what would happen if the Earth got completely fucked up for a while, and then some people remembered the way things were, and then went out and taught everyone how to do it. Then so like Atlantis and all that stuff, the idea is like the Atlanteans or whatever you want to call it had all this, like, which became the Egyptians, had all this information that they spread through the world. And so that's why when you hear about the Garden of Eden and the weird plural, the use of, in the book of Genesis, God is always saying we. Like,
Right.
Like if they eat of the tree of life, they will become like us and live forever.
Right.
All that weird shit. Like, it's the idea is like, I don't know, man. The idea is like we're some kind of essentially I don't know. I think that the Genesis stuff actually is a different thing. The point is like some fucked up thing happened on this planet and we are the survivors, so to speak. We're the descendants of the survivors of some kind of meteor impact.
Right. With the cockroaches.
Yeah. We're the cockroaches, basically.
Cockroaches.
The cockroaches.
All this shit we think is so advanced is like nothing compared to what they had.
Right. I'm wondering what's the next phase because I noticed that there's only that progression isn't so swift like it used to be. And because I feel like maybe they're running out of ideas or, reality is catching up with where we are with technology. But, when I was in the early 90s was Nintendo. So those graphics then compared to like PlayStation 4 now, that's a big change. So I was there for that. Like I had every console seeing that gradual progression. And then it got to a point like around PlayStation 3 where you start to notice like, oh, okay, they don't have much more space. It's only far they can go now to where like it's either real or it's not. I wonder if we're pushing into that to where we won't even be playing video games anymore. We'll be it'll be like virtual reality, I guess. Or then will real life become the outdated version of this more advanced looking version of, virtual reality.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there are these different games now that give us this sort of sense of otherworldly things, right? Like our RPG games for sure, right? RPG
No way.
games. They kind of like they take us into another realm, another world, Final Fantasies and of the such, I don't know if you're a gamer at all, Duncan, but RPG is role playing. Oh, okay.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
Tell me what RPG. No, I love RPG games, actually.
But that's what takes us like out of our world and puts us somewhere completely different through a game. And I mean, they were doing that graphics aside, right? With Final Fantasy on Super Nintendo. So it was, or PlayStation, I mean. So like it's like a thing. And then like Pokemon Go? You remember that? Like, I mean, people still play that, and that's like a actual interactive, like in our world thing, and it's weird. I remember when that was a big phase, and I was like, dude, get away from me, man. Like,
yeah, AR.
Yeah.
AR, man. That's the next one right there. That's the what's happened. Like one of the things that's happening for sure is the realm that we're in is kind of technology is growing into it, right? Like, so like, right. This, like right now, this internet and stuff, it's like, where does it live? It lives in chips. It lives in like this conversation we're having right now, like the intermediary thing. Like, what is that? What it's like energy. It's like we're being digitized, transmitted, and right now it's 2D. VR gives you the illusion that it's 3D. AR allows you to like that to like sort of like cover the world, and AR suddenly gets covered with this fog of digitized information, right? And so that's interesting in that it's like we're basically talking about another dimension, like this internet.
Happen again. Come back.
I'm back. Look, instead of yapping like this, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to find this video. Have you all seen that AR video that they made of what it's going to be like in the future with AR when we have the contacts in and shit? Have you seen that? Hold on. I'm going to find that and just show it. I'm going to find it. Hold on. It'll take me 2 seconds. This is like the most realistic
Ladies and gentlemen,
Depiction
you
of it.
are about to review a depiction of the future of artificial reality.
Yeah, hyper. Hold on one second. Let me make sure this is it. Yeah, this is it. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna have to. I'm unfortunately gonna have to like rip this video so that I could play it on my thing. But hold on one second. But yeah, man, it's like, I was just chatting with someone on Instagram and they were saying how cool it'd be if you could like adjust the voice for GPS. Like right now we get Siri or whatever. I know there's some ways to do it, but it'd be really cool. Like for me, it's funny that we can only have our GPS in a certain voice, right? Like, and it's always
Right.
kind of serious. Like I
Right.
don't necessarily want that. Like it would be fun to have like a paranoid GPS.
I heard an Elvis one before.
What's that?
I've heard one that was the voice of Elvis.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones.
Yeah, why doesn't Apple give us that option? Like I want to be able to do that.
Do you use Waze? Do you use Waze?
I get Waze is like gets me fucking car sick, man. It's like I don't want to take all those weird left turns and like you end up in a creek.
Right.
With Waze, you'll end up in a creek or in a barn or something. I don't like Waze. It annoys me. I know my wife loves it, but I fucking hate it, man. It's
I realize how much of it they control traffic. Basically, in the morning when I take my daughter to school, or when I used to take my daughter to school, the way I could tell everybody who was taking Waze, it was like it all had us like ants in a row. It was weird, and then I was like, I know better than to go this way right now. I'm gonna keep going the way I know to go. And usually, like sometimes they're just trying to like lead you to a light that's gonna give you your turn to make a left. But the turn I know, usually that road is pretty clear and I can just make a left. And I don't know. But I've noticed that Waze is one of those things that has everybody in a.
Yeah, we used to live on a Waze highway is what it was called. Like Waze had decided to make our street like the shortcut. So it used to be this nice empty road. And then suddenly it's just like all day long, just back-to-back traffic because Waze was directing us that.
That's why you hate Waze right there.
You were right. I hated it before, but that didn't help. I'll tell you that. People try to fuck with Waze to like change Waze highways and stuff and send them petitions and things, but it doesn't work. It's crazy, but okay, I got it. Here it is. This is called hyper reality. Let me see who made it so it's not complete horrible theft that we're doing here. It's let me see. Well, you Google hyper reality on YouTube. It's been around for a while. We don't have to watch the whole thing, but let me just play it real quick. This is what their vision of what AR is going to look like in the future.
Oh. So what are we looking at here? Whoa. So where is the person right now?
It's coming.
Oh, okay.
That's like a bus.
Whoa.
How is he typing?
With his mind, I guess. Whoa. Oh. Duncan went out, didn't he? Oh, there he is. Is that a virtual reality bus?
Oh, wait, my screen's reversed.
Whoa. Is that not? That's not a real. That's not a real place, huh? Or is it? Wow. Is all this necessary? We must gonna be really busy to need all
Hold
of
on,
this.
man.
Whoa.
Hang on. I'll skip it. Hold on. Sorry. Anyway, you get the point. That's what they think the
Wow.
future, you know, like, I'm sorry it was all reversed. I don't know how to fix that on my thing, but that's like, yeah, you know, like everywhere you go is just this overlay on top of everything with whatever you want. It doesn't have to be her, you know, she's got too many apps running, but, you know, something simple like a name under everyone who wants their name to be identified. Like, you want to walk around and you want everyone to know your name, or you want to, like, that can be floating above you in some app that everybody uses, or like, here's the fucked up thing, right, man? This is where it gets fucked up. My friend Johnny Pemberton suggested this. So what if they start attaching certain, like, I don't know, you know, like how in video games you get like medals and shit for doing special things, like a gold medal for completing the game in a certain amount of time. What if they start doing that with your credit score? Right? So if you got a really good credit score, you get like the Credit King crown, and you walk around with the crap. You know what I mean? If you have a certain amount of money in your bank account, you glow a different color.
Wasn't that kind of a episode in Black Mirror like this?
I
Right?
was just about to say that. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
the swiping up. I swipe up on you. You get like the
based on your star system, like
that.
if you got yeah.
Because right now humans are deceptive creatures. So you might see somebody, he's got a amazing house and a fucking nice car, but that person's like deeply in debt. Like, that person's fucked, but somehow they've managed to portray themselves as having a shit ton of cash. And you know what I mean? And like, so they trick people, and that's a con artist, you know, they like have all this flashy shit, a Rolex. That's how you demonstrate to people, I am opulent. But really, some of those people are just tricking you. That's camouflage, you know, whereas this is linked to actual servers that are demonstrating what you really are if you choose to show it.
Right. Sorry. I just thought of something. What if it was like an energy reader, to where I can read whether your emotional energy is balanced or imbalanced. So it's like letting me know, like, I don't even know what your personal issue is, but I can tell, like, you got some stuff going on. So,
well, that's where you're going to run into some problems, right? Because it's like the idea is like, how much of scanning another, like right now we naturally do that with micro gestures and stuff, you know, you naturally assess a person, you naturally get some feeling about a person. But what happens if that becomes what's up, Natalie? What happens if that becomes technologically enhanced? So now you can look at a person and you know their body temperature, their heart rate, you know what I mean? Anything that can be detected by technology, you could see.
But you can't do. But what can you do with that though? Can you do anything to manipulate that?
I mean, think of poker. You sure as fuck could do it in poker. You know, see someone's heart rate go up, the little perspiration detected. Right now in poker. Go ahead.
You can wear that with. You can wear that with poker. No. Go ahead.
You know what I mean, though? I mean, that's poker. Yeah. That's why they all wear those stupid glasses and like stay rigid and shit when they're playing and try not to move.
Right.
Because they don't want to. You don't want. But like with technology, you could be like, okay, their body temperature raises every time I mention something. I mean, fuck poker, anything, man. You know, like enhanced seduction help. You know what I mean? Where the thing, an AI starts in your ears, instructing you how to like talk to somebody. A job interview help, you know?
Oh, wow. You know, that's interesting too. But we're probably gonna be so advanced to where would you even be going into a job interview the same way? You know, maybe everything will be online, and maybe it's just all typing questions or doing a face chat, and the face chat later on gonna turn into some digital person anyway that you can filter the way you're presenting some fake person anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I don't know.
We're not ready for it. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, we're not ready. That's the problem is like people right now can't accept their own bullshit. You know what I mean? There's people who actively try to ignore so much about themselves, just themselves. They try to pretend it's not there. They try not to see their who they fully are. They can't accept that their consciousness exists on a spectrum. We were talking about this today,
Yeah,
Mark.
I was just thinking that. I was just thinking about the shadows, thinking about how, like, we were talking about a certain point, like, a person doesn't see their own shadow in what they do, and it's sort of a symbol to the past,
Yeah.
The idea that, like, once you're able to see your shadow, you can then see, is it you controlling your shadow, or is your shadow controlling you?
Yeah. Yeah. But first you got to look at it. And that's like
right.
You got to look at and sometimes you can't. I mean, this is the thing you need. This is why therapy is great, because they can help you in a like calm setting, work with it and stuff. But yeah, this kind of technology, it's like, I mean, there's something like, this is like the problem with psychedelics is if you get around someone on LSD, you might see their shadow. They're so high that like a part of themselves they're not proud of, or a part of themselves they're afraid to admit's there, or a secret will pop out, or you'll be so like high that you'll pick up on it, but you haven't developed your ability to be compassionate with them. So you while they're tripping, you can reject them.
Yeah.
You can like and cause a lot of damage to a person that way, because that's why that to me is one of the most difficult things about psychedelics is if you're going to take them with somebody, it needs to be somebody who you're okay knowing their secrets. And then, you need to be sure you can trust the person, because they're going to see you.
Yeah. Very vulnerable.
Yeah.
And you gotta take it around somebody whose energy you feel comfortable and safe around too, because now your senses are heightened, so you can feel all of their negativity inside. Now it's having an effect on your experience. Yeah. Well, who's frozen?
I think it's my. I think it's me, but yeah, you said you were just talking. You were going on about you were continuing the idea of like you got to be careful who you're around. Your sensitivity's up.
Now, is there a difference in like that sort of vulnerability in different psychedelics?
Say that again, Marcus.
Like, is there a difference in the vulnerability of different psychedelics? Like you said, LSD is something that is like to the core, like you're gonna see some shit. But I don't feel the same about mushrooms. I feel like there's still a controlled vulnerability in mushrooms. I feel like.
See, get in that tank. Different show. Yeah. Get in that tank, buddy. Different show.
I hope this isn't my internet. It's so annoying.
Oh man, are you freezing up? It looks good on my end.
No, he's frozen right there.
Oh,
I know for a fact he doesn't go that long without blinking.
Hang on, y'all. I hope this isn't me. I'm trying to see if there's some shit that's taking up bandwidth right now. I'm like,
oh dang. But
yeah, man. But it's just it's one of those things that I feel like, I think that's the reason why a lot of people don't do drugs. But at the same time, I think that's the reason why a lot of people like to drink.
But like the drinking, so funny, the drinking is a depressant though.
I mean,
the only thing that
by the end of the day, it'll be depressing. But in some, in the right environment, I feel like when people drink, they like to show themselves.
True that, because what the alcohol does is allow you to come out. Duncan says he's trying to see what's going on
Yeah,
with his
there we
computer.
go.
We waiting on you, man. Um, but I think with alcohol, it puts your ego aside because that's usually what happens. Like you're not scared no more. You take away your all that insecurity and fears, and you're just being,
It
free.
doesn't take, does it? I
Some
don't
people
know if
get
it
just
takes,
open, like you'll start letting out your truth. You know what I mean? All that stuff that you've been suppressing.
but
It's
is
like,
that an ego set aside though?
well, well, no, I'm not gonna say ego set aside. What I'm saying, whatever that thing is that's in the way of you
It definitely
expressing
lets go of
yourself.
inhibition.
Right. But so my analogy of it is like this, that I feel like what the alcohol does, it helps you to be free, but there's a price to pay for it because it doesn't get rid of the thing that temporarily got moved out of the way. But it
Yeah,
does open you up.
right.
The entheogens and the psychedelics, they force you to deal with the thing that's in the way so that you can fully express yourself without having some after crash because you're still holding on to that way.
Mm,
But the price to pay that after crash isn't after the experience, it's during, because it's like, oh, it's sending you through something, you know what I mean? But once you get on the
mhm.
other side of it, then you're lighter. But that alcohol is like a in the moment experience, I guess.
Yeah,
What you think?
it's just, well, I don't drink. Uh,
I
I
haven't been
I
drinking either.
it's just something I don't prefer. Is I rather smoke. I rather smoke. I
I
think
feel like
weed is something that I think weed can be a little hallucinogenic sometimes.
definitely, I
Depending on
believe that.
the dosage. But at the same time, I don't think that weed is the type of thing. I mean, some people, it makes some people a little hyperactive. It makes some people go like, "Oh my god, I gotta," like, I don't know where I'm at, and it freaks people out. It does that to some people. But I think that's attached to something. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily blame that on the weed.
Yeah.
But I definitely think when people drink, it's like it's a it's just this thing where, like, yeah, like you said, it changes something. I got to get brave about something. I gotta muster up the courage for something, and I don't know, man. I don't think there's much I need to muster up on in terms of, like, what it is that I can control, what I say, what I do, and stuff like that. I just
Mm,
think that, like, I don't know, man. It's interesting.
yeah.
Going to the club, having a drink in college, going to the governor's house, having a drink, going to the Rose, get a drink.
But
Yeah,
we was drinking some of that cheap
we was
stuff,
drinking
man.
that
That
blue juice.
right, that blue MF.
Yeah,
Blue.
that
Man,
stuff.
my first drink at Alabama State was was some of that what is it called? Puckers. Sour apple puckers. Ooh. Mix that with some Smirnoff vodka.
Yeah.
Oh man. Chanette said she hate being hot.
Chanel on
That's
here.
that. What's up, Chanette? That's because she hasn't experienced it the way we have yet. But that's okay.
Shout
You
out
know.
to Brazil, P Valley.
But nah, everything, weed ain't for everybody, just like alcohol ain't for everybody.
Right.
Everybody has their own thing, but I think they're all helpful tools if they're used the right way. I think, cannabis is a little bit more, I think Duncan back. Weed is a little bit more medicinal and beneficial and healing than
Absolutely.
alcohol is.
Absolutely.
But that ain't the way we get taught about it though. Like,
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah, dude. It was they did a whole campaign about it. Our government went out of their way to make sure you knew how dangerous weed was. But
Wow.
they were like, let these kids drink up at their parties, at their house parties.
Yeah.
Have a little fun, let them be kids.
Wow. I wonder, they're gonna, you know what? That technology is gonna turn into one day, instead of them taking pills, these kids are gonna learn how to digitally with like a machine turn on the chemicals that they need to turn on in their body to produce the highs that the body produces to like send you into the hallucinant state.
I'm being sent one of those. I
Really?
swear to God, I'm very skeptical about it. My manager knows someone who's like working on this magnetic technology that like theoretically can induce certain like states of consciousness by like doing the exact same thing that we use chemicals for now. He's sending me this helmet thing.
No way.
I'll let you know.
Let me know. That's
if it
crazy.
works. It can't work. I was telling him like, man, if this thing works, he's dead. Like, you know, the pharmaceutical companies he's gonna live for like 10 minutes after this gets out. Like,
man.
You know what I mean? They depend on us not being able to do that. They depend on us having to eat a thing so that it changes our chemistry in our brains. But to be able to do a technology, fucks up like it just obliterates an industry. How the fuck do you sell Xanax? How do you, if you can just put on a helmet and like, you're like relaxed.
Right. Ooh, just like that.
Ooh.
That's wow.
Nuts. That's nuts. How does that happen?
What do you study
I don't know.
to is nerves, man, because it's all signals. It's just like creating this cell phone, man. Like all these different buttons and apps and things you can program into it. You know, they base it off of our brain anyway, right? So maybe they figured out how to take that same blueprint and do it with like, you know, tapping into our nerve signals, you know?
Neurotransmitters, neuroreceptors, some kind of shift in valence or something in this thing called the synaptic cleft between the synapses where the neuroreceptors are hanging out. Like there is theoretically a way that you could hack that system. I mean, this is why all the yogis and all the, Ram Dass people and stuff, they like, you give them acid, it doesn't affect it. It doesn't do anything to them because they're already so fucking high. I mean, did I tell you all that story already? Did I tell you that story about Ram Dass giving acid to his guru?
No.
We gotta hear this story.
Oh, this is crazy, man. So like Ram Dass, at the time, his name was Richard Alpert, and he and Tim Leary gotten kicked out of Harvard because they were like essentially like partying with the students. They were like, they weren't supposed to be taking acid with the students, but LSD and psychedelics, they were so powerful that it was making their entire identity melt down anyway, and they didn't care. And so Alpert gets all of this acid from this famous LSD chemist named Owsley, and the guy who like basically funded the Grateful Dead from LSD sales. And he took all this LSD to India because he wanted to give it to people who meditated and see if they knew what this state of consciousness was. Because in the West, the psychologists thought, holy fuck, man, this is like the holy grail. Like we found at the very least a thing to induce psychosis so we can understand what's happening with people who have mental illnesses, but it might be something more than that. Like Tim Leary was certain that this was activating circuits of consciousness that were, it had been turned off, or that you could sort of like light your circuitry up in a way that accelerates evolution. And so it was people didn't know what it was. They still don't really understand it. But so Alpert ends up giving LSD to Neem Karoli Baba, his guru, and Neem Karoli Baba takes like a pretty large dose and nothing happens. No effect. It just didn't do anything. And so then he went back to the United States and he told some of his psychologist friends, I gave him 500 micrograms of this LSD and it didn't do anything. And his friends were like, oh, he palmed it. That's just like a classic trick. He obviously didn't take it. There's no way that a human could take that amount of LSD and have no physiological effect. So Alpert, the next time he's in India, Neem Karoli Baba says to him, the last time you were here, did you give me something? And Ram Dass is like, I think I did. Because like Neem Karoli Baba was telepathic. Like he knew what you were thinking. And he goes, well, give it to me again. Give it to me again. And so he gives it to him, and like this time he takes these pills and he chews them up and opens his mouth, and his tongue's just coated with like acid. And Ram Dass is freaking out because he thinks he's like killed his guru. And he's an old man. And so like he goes under his blanket, because that's all he had is a blanket, and he started like moaning and shaking. And then he like brings the blanket down and he laughs. And nothing. And he just says to him, we used to have a thing like this in the Indus Valley called Soma. And he said, this will bring you into the presence of Christ, but you can't stay there. And, it's like fucking nut. Like, how high are you? Like, because Ram Dass gave him like the amount of LSD that would put anybody in the emergency room. Like the amount of LSD that it's like, this isn't just like a disco dose. This is like, you are done for a long time. And I've talked to other people who saw it happen, not just his story. I know other people who were there when it happened and saw the whole fucking thing. Wow. And talked about how Ram Dass's face, he was like, he was shaking because he thought he'd like hurt somebody. He thought he'd been irresponsible, but yeah, no effect. So the implication being that like, if you have enough control over your nervous system, you could do the same thing that a magnetic helmet can do. You can induce those states of consciousness yourself. You don't need to take a thing to do it. If you can get the discipline, then you could do it yourself. That's the implication.
So with the Magneto.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You don't need tech. You are the technology. It is your brain. It's like, we're like someone who, our brain is like a pharmacy, I guess. And when we eat things, that's the prescription that gets filled by your brain, or when you do shit, that's the prescription that gets filled. But you are the pharmacy. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You can shift your consciousness yourself. You can. Like, it is your brain, but your brain is smart enough to not give you full access. It won't give you the keys. You have to do shit for it. It won't let you. You know what I mean? It's smart. It's exactly
that was a good way of breaking that down. But yeah, why would I give you all the keys? Chaotic nut.
Yeah, because that's all of this stuff.
You're not gonna do anything anymore. If I give you the keys to the fucking pharmacy, you're gonna just be like, okay, make me feel like I just jogged 6 miles. You know what I mean? Like that. Right. It's like, yeah, but you didn't jog. We would all just be like, just fucking morbidly obese, like not moving, but like constantly having orgasms. I want to taste cake. You know what I mean?
I heard a guy say in a lecture, because he was saying, if you become, fully aware of yourself, once you transition, because you're pure energy, you turn into whatever you want to, and that becomes your reality or your eternity. And he said, when I die, I just want to come an eternal orgasm. I just
yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. How long do you think you could have an orgasm for before you would go completely insane? Before it started hurting?
I mean, orgasm is pretty uncomfortable after a little while anyway. Like,
yeah,
it's pretty uncomfortable after a little while.
It's a form of epilepsy.
Yeah.
Some people have those like orgasm seizures and they die. They orgasm to death.
Ooh.
Whoa. That's a metaphor. That is a metaphor.
It's like tickling.
Yeah.
Right?
Because that eventually hurts too. It's funny.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I don't know no more,
But it's like, it starts to hurt. But I say like after 5 seconds, yeah, that's too much. Because that's that realm though. But that's that place you go back to in that moment that past the veil, I guess. So that death, you know what I mean? So you can't stay there too long,
You think that's what heaven, like this is where we're at is so fucked up that like if you were in paradise, that's just what it feels like. Like when we're coming, it's like we're remembering it's just a memory of home. It's like that's actually what everything is like. But here you don't get it at all, except in these moments. And those moments create life. They're so powerful.
Yeah, it's like this weird, like it's just a blank space, right? Like coming, it's a blank, like nothing exists, nothing before or future, nothing. It's just like gone. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only person.
No, man. Well, I mean, it's like
I get it.
It's true. It's in a cold state.
But women have a different experience though, because they can go for a long time.
Women are creatures beyond belief, man. Like my comparison to an orgasm to a woman's would never, ever compare.
It's the opposite.
Wait, women can orgasm?
Apparently there's a joke about if a woman orgasms, you get a boy, and if she doesn't, you get a girl. Apparently.
Well, wait, hold on a second now. Have you read the book Sex at Dawn?
No.
Nah.
Okay, so this book, that one of the question is, why do women have multiple orgasms, and why does a guy want to fall asleep? Why do we get like
because a woman is that negative energy. She represents that great cosmic energy, that chaos. We're just the light that comes out of it. You know what I mean? We're female positive. She's a female negative, so she can absorb more.
That's a beautiful explanation. There's a different explanation, my friend, in this book at least, that is not mystical. Okay. The explanation is that another question is like, what's up with sex sounds? You know what I mean? Why are there a special set of vocalizations made?
They all sound very painful too.
But they're loud. They're loud. Like you remember you're at your parents' house and you would like, if you I don't know if you ever, I had sex at my parents' house, not to brag. I had sex once, but the point is you wouldn't want your parents to hear it, but that's a problem. Why is it that there's a vocalization? And so in this book, what they say, and this is dark and crazy, is that actually like the reason is because like in the ancient times, a woman would vocalize to let all the available males in the area know that she was ready to have sex, and that it would be like an orgy. And that the reason that guys get tired is because once you ejaculate, you're like, I gotta go to bed, or whatever we were like back then. And then so what ends up happening is the strongest sperm survives, right? Like the most successful DNA makes the baby. And so in this book, they talk about,
whoa.
Yeah, it's so weird. They talk about how like in certain tribes, there isn't one dad. They don't know. They don't know that like a semen, like a sperm makes the baby. They think it's the energies from multiple fathers that make the baby. And so you'll have in a village, like you'll have like 4 dads, whoever the woman chose to like. The woman has sex with the men whose traits she wants to put in the baby. So that's the idea of why women have multiple orgasms and guys want to pass out. I mean, it's a really like, on one level, it's like kind of like, whoa, really? I mean, that sounds crazy.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a pretty great book. It's a really like, it's pretty interesting, man. It's a pretty interesting book. A lot of people get upset about it because they say that it implies monogamy is a mistake, or that monogamy is like counter evolutionary or something like that. But I disagree with that. I think you could have healthy monogamy, healthy polyamory, whatever. The book is just like a more of an anthropological assessment of like, here's another one. And I don't know, man, again, I can't get this one out of my head. Why do you think a penis is shaped like a plunger? Why does it have that shape?
Because it's plunging.
No, well, partially because it's blood, because it like sucks out. The idea is it's supposed to like potentially suck out your competitor's jizz.
Oh yeah, I heard this, but it was called a shovel.
Wait, so I was right. That's what.
Yeah,
That's plunging. Yeah, that's what
it's
I thought.
shaped like that for a reason.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
this stuff, like if you could just really simplify it, you could find something simple like, oh yep, makes
That's
sense.
what it is. Yeah.
Yep. Like, but how ironic is this? Because when we talk about that sexual energy, you know, especially with orgasm, because when a man has an orgasm, we're releasing life, vitality. That's why we pass out. A woman is absorbing that shit, so she wants more of it. So, but it's funny how, let's say you have the woman A, man A. If a woman A can physically take on 5 men and conquer all of them, have them asleep by the end of the night, and she's ready for more. But in the realm of society, if one woman has sex with 5 men, something's wrong with her. But if it was the one man who had sex with 5 women, he did a great thing, even though on a physical level, he can't handle that more than she can handle the opposite.
Right.
Yeah, man. That's it. That's the books. The thing is saying like, shit, this could really be like, you know, the whole like the slut shaming and all that stuff is like biologically, actually, that's like the best, like that like. And again, I have not, like, I know the author and it seems on the level of me, man. But the idea is like when like there seems to be like something positive about like the most life, the most healthy, the most vital thing being the thing that being the baby. You know what I mean? That, and also this stuff that they're saying how the egg is actually choosing which sperm to use.
Exactly.
Whoa. I mean, if that's the case, that really seems to underline this idea, which is like, shit, you're not just getting to choose from like one guy's sperm, you're choosing from like, so you're just giving more options. And finally the egg's like, yeah, that's what I was looking for. That's perfect. And you know what I mean?
Oh man. Oh no.
I know.
As opposed to the egg saying, oh fuck, fine.
All right.
Fuck
well,
it.
I guess it's gonna be you.
Fuck this.
Oh man, that's some but that's some highly advanced technology though.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't figured out how advanced of a piece of technology we are as a species.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe we did and then we forgot because it became too much for us and there was some nuclear fallout and then now we're, you know, putting the pieces back together, I guess, like you were saying earlier, Duncan. Like getting back to a place that we were before, because I guess maybe they crashed or just burnt out, you know, or maybe they just had to evolve for whatever reason.
Yeah, man, it's like the whole cycle, right? It's like, you know, some shit has to die, has to come back, has to like go all the way around, you know. It's just revolution.
Yeah.
You know, we in this phase right now where our minds are only as capable as our technologies right now, even though we know for a fact that our minds can do more than the technologies that assist us. We just only unlock what, 10% of our brain, 8% of our brain or something like that, they said now.
Is that because they tell us that that's what it is and we programmed our mind to believe that that's real and so that we accept that?
I really think that I think our society is built based on like this caveman Neanderthal sort of basis. It's not, we're not thinking about the high priests and gods and things like that, you know, that we all know to be true and exist. You know, it came from, oh, my name Jeb, I go get big stone, I make will, I go smash, me pick. That's what our society is literally found, like the foundation of what we do as humans right now in this era of light. But what's crazy is our children and our children's children are coming up in a way to where they are starting to see things in a whole different way. This caveman shit don't make no sense to them no more. Now it's like, it's gotta be a different way. It's gotta be a better way than this fucking you, me in the cave now type of shit. That's no.
Yeah.
So it's I think that it's just a revolution. We're going back around into something, Knock my light out.
So in this book about I think you'll like it because it talks about the Merkaba, which is that light body stone. It talks about this what you just talked about, Marcus. Let me see. Let me read a little bit of
Frozen.
Who's Frozen?
Oh,
Dang.
I'm back,
man. You know what it is? It's a Mercury in retrograde, man.
Is Mercury in retrograde? Are you serious?
I feel like it's in retrograde every other fucking week. What the hell?
It is.
When did it start with the earthquake?
No, but did y'all feel that though?
Yeah, I felt it. But you were saying the Merkaba.
Oh yeah. So the Merkaba stone. Well, I was just saying that they were talking about that in the book, but the specific part I wanted to go to, I just so easily found it, and now I so easily cannot re-find it. He was saying that how the axis of the Earth's tilts like every 25,000 years. So the ancestors like took that and mapped that into 2,000-year periods because they saw that things were moving and things were going into a cycle. And not just one cycle, but a few. So one of the cycles is that just like the caterpillar turns into the butterfly, our consciousness goes through that same phase where we'll have like a 10,000-year period where we fall asleep, and then we'll have another period where our consciousness wakes up.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was listening. Right. And I was listening to one guy. He was talking about, based on some of the stuff that he found in Egypt, was that by the time that they built the pyramids, they had the consciousness had already started to decline. Because he was saying that at one point there was no need to write anything. That's why he didn't have books before, not because they weren't smart enough, but because they were so in tune with the rest of the percent of their brain and the DNA, because everything is already in you, it's recorded. So they had that more available mentally to access. We don't really have it because we got so many programmed fake ideas in a way. So we can't like just remember. So we got to be reminded. But they didn't have to be reminded as much. Just like you don't have to, a mama spider doesn't teach the baby spider how to build a web. Like it knows how to do it.
Right.
So, I thought
that implies we could do it now. That implies you know what? This happens.
Right.
People get a brain injury and suddenly they can play piano. You know what I mean? Like this does happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. True. And that's also with like when people get healed from different sicknesses. Well, I said that because of what you just said about the brain injury, where you like in church, where somebody they'll have that miracle, I guess, where something they believed so hard that they were able to do something that drastic and rapid within their body that fast, to where damn, I reprogram myself to get rid of these cancer cells. Boom, just like that. But then we'll say, oh, no, it was, somebody else who did it for us. But I mean, I get it.
Well, this is like CRISPR. It's like this is what's interesting about this, like the new technology that they're using where they give someone a virus that like recodes your DNA, like if theoretically, if we could control ourselves at that level, you could just scan yourself. Oh, great. Mercury's no longer in retrograde. Yay! Then what am I going to blame my shit on? If theoretically, this is our body. We have some kind of, I can raise my hands. I can move my fingers. I can blink my eyes. But, thank God I don't have to worry about my heart. You ever think about that? Like, if you were in charge of your heart, I would be dead within seconds. Like, I don't know how to keep that rhythm going. But you know what I mean? Or
and it's so fragile too. You realize, like, man, the brain and the heart, they're so fragile, and they're only behind like a few inches of bone and other tissues. Like, whoa, that's all that's in front of this. But we don't really think about that. But
we don't think about it. We don't think about cell division that's happening. I was just reading this thing because I wanted to fact check that idea that you get a new body every 7 years. Like most of your cells regenerate every 7 years. Your teeth don't. Like some like your teeth are as old as you are, or a little younger than you are. But most people, your skin, when you see a person, that's a 7-year-old. Like my skin is 7. You know what I mean? Like, and so the implication there is pretty profound, which is that if we're constantly in this regenerative state, then that's not within our control. There is theoretically, if you could somehow connect yourself to the deepest core, you could control these things. You could actually reverse age yourself if you wanted to. You could. Again, purely speculation, but if aging is actually something that happens because like whatever, I'm no fucking scientist, obviously, but whatever the printer is that's printing you out, starts like running out of ink or something. And so you get all wrinkly and like, theoretically you could you could change that. You could rejuvenate, renew, reverse age. Dude, maybe that's what they did. Maybe that's what our ancestors, which is why in the Bible they say people live to be like 700, 600. Right. Maybe that's why, because they could control it.
Check this point out. Because if you look at a lot of pictures from the 90s or early 2000s of yourself or your family or even like celebrities, because our consciousness has evolved, people look younger.
Yeah, what is that?
That's what I was about to say
younger than they did like 15, 20 years ago. Huh?
Ellen DeGeneres, man. Good God. She's 62 years old. I had no idea.
I didn't know that.
Look, I don't want to get into that. That shit creeps me out a little bit. I don't want to believe it. I hope it's not true. But do y'all know anything about like adrenochrome?
Like the vampire thing, the taking the kids' cells and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I don't have any verified facts on that, so I can't.
Well, it takes me back to you showing us that fucking Wayfair cabinet named after the kids. What the fuck is that? What is that?
Yeah, how much truth was in that?
I think that was like, beyond a shadow of a doubt, human trafficking is happening on this planet. But I feel like that seems like, if somebody's a human trafficker, are they really, I just think about how that deal looks. Like, what are you like? So you want to buy somebody, you want to buy one of these children we've kidnapped? Go to the Wayfair website. Create a paper trail by buying a $30,000 cabinet. I'm gonna be like, fuck you, I'm not doing that. It seems ridiculous. Like, who's really gonna I'm not saying it definitely happens, sadly, but I don't think that's the way it happens. But
yeah.
I don't know, man. But I'll show you this creepy ass thing. I don't know if they may have already pulled this off.
I charge my phone.
Listen to this. This is real. Look at this. I'll just pull this up on the screen. This is real. It's like, check this shit out. This is a rabbit hole. I don't mean to like make everything all dark and shit, but this is a fucking bad rabbit hole here. Look at this. You know, you've heard about these skincare products that are made
I can't see it.
Hold on. You heard about this?
Oh, it's backwards though.
Yeah, read it for me.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Several beauty products contain baby foreskin cells.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Ugh.
Yeah, like I can't remember who it was. There was some famous person who's on a TV show, and she freely admitted that she like was using a skin cream that had foreskins in it, and it was from like another country. You know what I mean? It's like really fucking dark, man. Like, wait, you're rubbing the skin of like circumcised babies into your face?
Yeah, that's a little weird.
I mean, yeah, man. That's like really fucked up.
Well, that's what Lee Daniels went on Wendy Williams and said he drinks like she said, what's your secret to looking so young? And he said he drinks children's blood. And he immediately was like, oh, I'm just playing, just kidding. And it was just like,
But have you seen that stuff like that they think that like by giving people transfusions of young blood, it reverse ages you?
Yeah.
Like that's a real thing, like literal vampirism.
Yeah. Ugh.
So is that where the idea came from, you think? Because there was an episode on Vice about this group. It was about this guy named General Butt Naked. And he was from Angola, I think. And so what happened after slavery ended, they took some Africans back to this small country, and I think Angola, somewhere in West Africa. And man, it was horrible. Like they got worse treatment over there afterwards than they did during the slave trade. So he had created a little army. And I guess he was convinced that the children's blood gave him superpowers. So what they would do when they went out to battle, they would get naked because he said they were untouchable if they got naked. And, he did talk about them bringing a little child to him, and he, ate the girl's heart. Said it gave him power so he could be invisible to the bullets. He's a Christian pastor now, but
what? Yeah, I remember this now. You don't get to keep living. Have you ate a child's heart?
Wait.
How do you sit in that church? You're like, oh, that's the guy who had a child's heart a few years ago.
But he said it gave him superpowers.
Lady Bathory. You know Lady Bathory? The story of Lady Bathory, she would like bathe herself in blood. She's like and she didn't age. And it's like the idea is like there's something in young blood that tells your cells that I don't know. I mean, all these myths come from somewhere, man. Like vampirism and stuff, it comes from somewhere. And right now it's like considered pseudoscience, the young blood transfusion thing, but it's fucking happening, man. It's fucking happening. Like people are doing it. Like people are getting young people's blood and putting it in their body. And look, you think Rupert Murdoch would hesitate if he thought young blood would like make him young again?
Right.
You think he would hesitate to just drink a goblet of young fucking blood?
Oh, you know what? Now that show makes sense. Dark Crystal. Gotta go watch it. That is. Right.
Don't do that. You're talking about the fucking the what were those little things called?
We have to drink their essence.
Essence.
I love the Dark Crystal, dude. We gotta pull up a picture of that. That was the creepiest thing.
Man.
Yeah, man. A lot of people, because because like
The Skeksis. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
Skeksis.
Yeah,
Is
but
is your essence in your blood? I would like to think so. Got a lot of vitality in it. There's a lot of life in there.
I mean, I don't know, man, but like, if I just pray that this is just all just bullshit urban myth, man, because if it ever comes to the surface that people are hurting kids so they could look a little younger, that's the end of the world, man. No one's gonna put up with that. That's the end of the world.
Dude.
Look, let me find this from the Dark Crystal. Man, this shit I was too young to see this. I remember when the Dark Crystal, I was in the theaters when the Dark Crystal came out. Like, remember this? Cute, poor little cutie.
Oh yeah.
Getting drained.
Getting drained of that essence.
Yeah.
Oh man, deep.
Yeah,
That
but
was
you
my
know,
essence.
I mean, okay, so let's think about it. You know, like there's obviously there's like children in theater and whose parents get them into movies. You know what I mean? And like you know, a lot of times it doesn't work out it's like it's not the best. Sometimes it's okay, but sometimes it's really bad. You know, if suddenly like there was a market for your kid's blood, like you could have your kid donate blood, but not to help people. It's blood being donated to like Saudi Arabian princes. People would do that shit, man. People would do that.
Do you know how much a heart is worth here?
No, how much?
$1 million. A human heart is worth $1 million here. You could sell it. You could sell your heart for $1 million here. And you can sell all your organs, really, for money. But it's interesting that much money goes into like, yeah, man, we'll take that off your hands, no problem.
Like there's an underground for organs. Like if you're already dying, you're thinking about killing yourself, and you wanted to help your family.
But it's legal. It's legal. You can legally sell. You can legally sell your organs.
I could sell my heart.
Yeah.
But I would die. That would be murder.
You can legally. I looked it up.
You can legally put some Bitcoin.
It says
best time to blink out. By the way.
Oh man.
The biggest ticket organ you can legally sell in the US is your heart. They're going for a cool $1 million. Livers come in second, worth $555,000, and kidneys fetch about $262,000 each.
Whoa.
Damn, we got to learn how to grow hearts.
Harvest hearts.
Just grow them. Have you heard that shit about the like people who get other people? Hearts have neurons in them, and when you get a heart transplant, your personality can change.
What?
Yeah,
you're taking all that neurons and transmitters from that other person.
Yeah.
Well, you know they had the guy who rode his bike 2,600 miles to go hug the person who took his daughter's heart after she donated it, after she died in a car accident or something like that. And he said he could feel her there.
Wow.
You know,
I mean, how much of that was that his emotional self?
I'm today years old finding out about this whole like heart with neurons and can change your personality thing. I didn't know this. I did not know this.
Yeah, check it out. It's really. I'll look it up.
Yeah. Wow, that's some. Man, we went down a little rabbit hole today.
Okay, listen to this. I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to read this real quick because this is.
Go ahead.
This is from NBC News. Man with suicide victim's heart takes own life. He even married the donor's widow after the transplant 12 years ago. A man who received a heart transplant 12 years ago and later married the donor's widow died the same way the donor did, authorities said, of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. I mean,
Whoa.
Is oneness.
That is
That heart has
Wasn't it-
died twice.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you think they did with it after that?
Throw it in the fucking ocean, man. That's
Dude, that's a great fucking movie though, right? Like,
wasn't there a movie about that already?
wait,
Remember?
when the heart transfer, I mean, that's Chucky, man. Chucky, he transferred
No, there was a movie
himself
this
into a
girl.
doll.
Well, right.
the new
No,
Chuck
there
was
was-
not bad.
I know. There was this movie about this girl who had a heart transplant. I think it came out a couple years ago. And there was another girl who had her heart, so she went trying to find her or something like that. And it became like this twisted, like psychological horror or something like that. But
Yeah, no, this is just one of those like Sharknado, like this is a heart that just keeps on killing. Killer heart.
the killer heart.
Killer heart. The heart that just keeps on killing.
It
It's
burrows into your
cold-blooded.
chest. It replaces your fucking heart. Dig your heart
Coming out
out.
this Valentine's, heart killer.
It's honestly, I think that would be a hit, man. It's a pretty great idea. Like an endless string of heart transplant. Like you get the heart and you think, oh, thank God, I finally got a new heart. And then like your life becomes so bad that you want to just donate the heart, get another one. It's been passed around for thousands of years. It's like an ancient art.
Appreciate that, Natalie. She said the name of the movie is Chamber. Chamber.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I got to wrap this up. We're taking another trip to grandmother's house tomorrow, so I got to go.
No, absolutely.
I love these, man. Every Friday.
Friday, man.
Continue these. You know, we're gonna
absolutely.
We might at some point, man. I'd like to put one of these up as a DTFH if y'all would let me. It would be really cool to like podcast.
Yeah. All right, man.
Man.
See you later. See you, everybody. Bye.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.